I don't know if this will be the most exciting video I've ever created, but I wanted to do some research here and see if we ignore the 90s, if we ignore the dot-com explosion and bubble, is there any time in the market that looks awesome for 30 years, like what you'd need during retirement? So 1871 is as late, far back as this one goes. Let's try this. 7.33. Okay. So we go to, this is what I mean by I'm not sure this is going to be super exciting. And that may not even be 30 years. Who knows? Maybe it's 31, but whatever. It's fine. So 7-Eleven, 3, 3, 6, 1, 4, 4. Okay, 7, 5, 5. All right, we're certainly not double digits yet, but this is way back in the day. So, as you've heard me say about the 1970s through 1999, I really don't care what the market did last century. What's the environment we live in today in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s? So I'm going back like to times I honestly nobody should really care about, but that's fine. I just want to prove a point here. Okay, we got a 8.25. That's kind of cool. 9, 9, exactly the same. Wait, that seems like an anomaly. Let me double check myself. 8.25. I don't know why that would be exactly the same. And click. I don't understand it, but it says it's exactly the same. Okay. So 80 to what? 10, right? Now we're dropping back down. 6.74. Okay. I'm trying to do this math in my head. Am I going to do this like 130 times or something? I think I am. 11. All right. Boringvideos.com with Charlie Jewett. Why not? Let's see. 6.27, 3. I guess I could always create a recording of this. Oh, the ugly period. Only 5.99. Nasty. All right. 30 years. Do we have any good 30-year periods that do not involve the 1990s? La da da. Maybe if I sing songs that aren't in tune while we do it, it'll be fun. Man, there's nothing. Okay, maybe it's just because it's the early years. 18, blah, blah, blah. All right, on another video, I can go back or whatever. I can do it on my own. Let's bring it into the modern world. Let's say, so 1990, 30 years before that is 1960. So if somebody retired from 1930 to 1960, 8.88, not terrible. Okay. Now we'll go 61. 10.69. I kind of like that one. That's kind of nice. Doesn't mean they could take an income of 10.69, but that's kind of nice. All right. 1932 to 62. Ooh, 12.44. Let's go back 90 years. Try to live then. Go here. 13.41, getting better and better and better. Okay. 34 to 64. 12.33. 35 to 65. 1306. Cool. 36 to 66. 11.08. So I'm just looking at 30-year periods. What if you retired and left your money in the market? Now there's a giant flaw, not in what I'm doing, but in what your broker teaches, in that I'm saying, what if you leave 100% of your money in stocks only, no bonds, never touch it, and you're getting all the dividends? See this box right here? I'm basically showing a scenario that nobody who pays an advisor has. If you're paying Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, UBS, AG Edwards, some independent person in your state, your city, if you're paying 0.5%, 1%, if you're paying anybody to choose which investments to be in, you're not getting this. There's no reason for me even to cover that on this video. 100% of the evidence shows that all money managers underperform the S&P 500. So if you're going to have money at risk this way with securities, you might as well just buy the S&P 500 through Vanguard or Fidelity. If you look at Warren Buffett's estate plan, he does not reveal to his wife which money manager is beating the S&P 500 because, hello, he's done the research and no one does. Please, please trust Warren Buffett has done the research and there's nobody that's beating the S&P 500. So he says to his wife, if I die, put everything in indexed funds. That is what I am showing you. No one in retirement is actually doing this. And it would be very hard to stomach taking income out during the losses for a 30-year period, still taking out that high income. But if someone did what they can't do, what they don't do, and left it in for 30 years, I'm saying, okay, from 37 to 67, they would have averaged a true rate of return of almost 11 here, which is nice. So 11 or 8, go 8, 12.63, beautiful. 3.9, 6.9. Now, I'll tell you what I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing anything in the 24 to 30% range like land banking. So as far as growth is concerned, should you use the stock market as an income tool? No, it is terrible for income. Should you use it as a growth tool? Possibly. There were times that it did really well for income. I'm sorry, there's times it did really well for growth, sort of compounding. Like here's almost 13% a year, compounding for 30 years. That's awesome. Well, did it do better than land banking that's not volatile, where the money doesn't go up and then down, and then you have to wait, and then up and then down, where it just goes up, 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 up. And the average is 15, 24, 30, depending on how you want to measure it. No. Part of the message that's starting to come out of the Renovating Retirement movement and the podcast is the stock market has never done anything better than modern day tools over any environment. That's what modern tools means. People don't create tools when there's no problem. They look at existing problems and they say, how do we create a tool that fixes that? All annuities, cash value life insurance, and land banking that I teach, all those strategies exist because someone said these other things are not cutting it anymore. How do we fix that? How do we create something new? What's a different way of thinking so we're not stuck in a rut doing what people used to do traditionally? Traditions are good when they work. Traditions are devastating when they stop working. Would you like for your spouse to be stoned to death if they lied, or to be hung on a cross, or to have their head chopped off in a guillotine, where those were traditions at some point? The answer is probably no, because we have developed more modern, more accurate, more helpful techniques for dealing with people that have made mistakes or committed crimes. Same thing in the financial services. Using the outdated, I think I'm going to buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and cross my fingers and hope for the best because it worked in past centuries, doesn't make a lot of sense unless there are no better tools. My research over the last 17 years, you can find it at the Renovating Retirement podcast or renovatingretirement.com, or doing a search for Charlie Jewett on Google, CharlieJewett. Just go simply look at what's this guy doing. All of my research shows the modern tools all beat the stock market in every possible thing you could want. Growth with no income, which is inheritance or liquidity for emergency funds or medical expenses, leaving a large inheritance, taking the biggest income possible, funding college, whatever it is, whatever goal you can come up with, the non-stock market tools do it better and safer with lower fees than the stock market. So the stock market has become a useless subcontractor to me. If you have a drunken electrician who used to do amazing work, but now doesn't show up on the job, or shows up and wires everything inappropriately because he's a drunk or she's a drunk, you fire them, or you say, get your act together and come back when you're able to perform like you used to. The stock market, to me, is just one of the tools in the financial services. I have annuities, I have bank products, I have insurance company products, annuities and life insurance. I have real estate strategies, land banking, rental units, flips, REITs. We have, what else? I don't know. bank products, insurance company products. Oh, the market, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Since stocks, bonds, and mutual funds cannot perform, have stopped performing the way they used to. I don't know if you've been watching as I do this. All these numbers are pretty nice. They're all above like 8, which is pretty rad. All right, 58 and 88. Cool. All right, loving it. 59, 89. Loving it. 60. Boom, boom. What did I do? 90. Okay, now we're going to start getting into the 90s. Let's see what happens to these numbers. I'm just curious. Yeah, nice. 8, almost 11. Beautiful. 2, 92. Okay. 3, 93. There's got to be a faster way to do this, but long before they had washing machines, people did their laundry by scrubbing them on boards in the river, talking to their friends. So I'm doing laundry in the river because it's the way I know how to do it. 5. All right, everything's above 10. It's kind of nice. If you could compound your money at 10 for 30 years, that'd be pretty sweet. 11's even better. 67 to 90. Boom. 7. Ooh, almost 13%, 12 and a half. We're loving that. Boom. What's really funny is I'm not showing what happens if you take an income out of that. You would be shocked how little income you can actually take out of account that's making 12%, but whatevs. So 12.69, 19.99, almost 13%. Love that. 70. That is a weird year. 1970, 2000, 13. Love it. 71, 2001. Loving it. 12 and a half, basically. 2. When I was born, giving my age away, 1972. 11. Okay, we're dropping a little bit. That's interesting as we include the 2000s, the most recent times we have. 11.25, a little bit back up. That's nice. 1974, 2004. 12.2, love that. So if you were 65 in 1975, which is basically no one that I'm talking to or helping with retirement planning, you would have been okay. Yeah, baby, jam on it. 13 and a half from 75 to 2005. That's cool. 76 to 2006. 12.86, love it. 77 to 2007. If that was the time you were alive during retirement, would have had good returns. Stock market rocking and rolling. I'm proving a point here, you guys. I'm showing you why the stock market's the most popular investment on the planet, because it had a wonderful time. How much modeling work does, what is her name? The Blue Lagoon, Brooke. What is her name? Model Brooke? Not Brooklyn. Not Brooklyn. Brooke. Why can't I remember what her name is? I'm going to go Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon. I don't know if you can see my screen or not. I think you can, but oh yeah, Brooke Shields. How much modeling work is Brooke Shields getting today? Let's see what she looks like. Brooke Shields. Donald Trump is on there. I don't know why. So I don't know. She's a pretty girl, but here's an example. Does Brooke Shields look like a model in that picture? But did she have a time in her life, Brooke Shields young, did she have a time in her life where she was modeling? And the answer is yes. Okay. So she had a time in her life where she was modeling. Do we go, she was a model once, so she should model forever. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, the best choice for any advertisement, because there was a time where she was young and got the job done. And I'm not insulting Brooke Shields. I look quite different than I did in high school. Hello. I'm just saying Having accomplished something once doesn't mean anything about what you can do today. 1980. All right. So if you were 65 in 1980, which again is no one that is listening to this, you would have been okay because the stock market was still in its young Brooke Shields modeling years getting the job done. But what's happening in the recent years? Oh my gosh, if you were 65 and 82, you would have been fine. Charlie, this just looks like you're proving the stock market works no matter what. What's your problem? We're going to find out. It's okay. It is okay. For people that tell the truth, there's no bad news. There's nothing I could discover that's going to hurt me or going to upset me in any way because we're just here telling the truth. Still, if you were 65 in 85, which was at the recording of this in 2020, that was 35 years ago. So you're 100 years old today. No one is even looking for retirement planning advice at 100 years old. You would have been fine. Cool. You could have listened to Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, and Morgan Stanley and done just fine. So watch this. 88, 18. All right, 10%. It's not terrible. 89. Look, we're going to run out of time here. We are going to run out of time. 90. 2020 is not going to be here until another couple months. They're going to say it's not. Well, maybe they're measuring what it's done up until now. Who knows? All of those time frames looked pretty good to me. They look pretty good. Now watch this. Finance.yahoo.com. S&P 500. Maximum. All of history. All right. Slowly up. Let's start right here. Up, 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 up. Love it. Up, 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 up. Love it. What's going on right here? What's going on right here where my family member retired and had to come out of retirement and go back to work for 13 more years? Why is that? What's going on from this period? Look at that. 2000, March 1, 2000, somewhere in there, to 2012. That's a 12-year period where the market is flat. Do you see any of those over here? Do you see any of those in here? Or are you forced to admit that this is unique in history, like I have had to admit? Are you forced, like every honest person, to admit that the lost decade has changed things? There's this rule that was set somewhere in here, 2006, I think it was, by William Bengen that looked at all the 30-year periods and said, what's a safe withdrawal percentage? 4%. You can take 4%. If you have $1 million, you can take $40,000 a year, increase it by 2%. You're going to be okay. Then when we got to here, where the market for 10, 12 years didn't go anywhere, if you go back and do all of his research again, you'll find out it's only 2.8%. If you're a millionaire and you have $1 million in IRAs, you can take $28,000 a year. Only if you force yourself to leave it in inferior investments and say, I don't care if anybody's created a car, I'm going to go with the horse and buggy. I must stay in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds no matter how much they hurt me. You're down to $28,000 a year from every $1 million. So if you have $1 million in an IRA, you can take $28,000 pre-tax and hope to not run out of money before the day you retire. That is silly. What have I been preaching, screaming from the rooftops? Am I saying I know exactly what's going to happen over the next 10 years? No, but watch this number, 9.96. I don't know what's going to happen for the next 10 years, but I can say we don't have a 30-year period to measure since this lost decade started. Do you see a drop that big anywhere in history? I hope you're saying no. The answer to what does it mean when we have a larger drop than has ever happened in history, and then it took this much time to get back, so we lost 7 years of compounding, and then it actually dropped again, and then it took this many years to get back, and we actually lost 12 to 13 years of compounding for the first time in all of stock market history. What does that mean? Please humble yourself. That means everything has changed. Everything that everyone used to say no longer applies because this had never been seen before. Do I have a 30-year period to measure for you? No. But I can tell you that over the last 20 years, we only compounded at 6, not 9.5, not 13.52, not 17. And most of you are not getting the dividends, which means you're getting destroyed because you're with Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, UBS, AG Edwards, whatever independent. If you have someone in your life who's charging you a fee to gamble in the stock market in the new world where this now is part of our reality, you're probably giving up 30, 40, 50, 60% of the rate of return, the retirement income that you could have. Get in touch, Charlie at jewettwealth.com, CHARLIE at JEWETT wealth.com. Or you could do something easy like this and go, hey, let me go to renovating retirement or jewettwealth.com and just poke around and take a look at what might be there that could be helpful for you. Charlie Jewett here. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.